Today, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, with partner Thebe Tourism Group, announced at the World Tourism Market 2017 in London a collaboration to turn the Nelson Mandela home in Houghton into a presidential 5 to 7-star travel destination. At the same event, Thebe Tourism also announced new products coming specifically to the Mpumalanga province in the middle of the Kruger National Park. Jerry Mabena, the Chief Executive Officer of Thebe Tourism Group, is here with us to tell us a little bit more. Thebe, it's so good. I'm calling you Thebe. You see what happens?
I work for Thebe.
I know.
You forgive me.
Jerry, listen, Jerry and I go very far back. In fact, we go high. We climbed Kilimanjaro together.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we've got some wonderful memories. It is so nice to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Jerry, this is such an awesome initiative. Talk to me a little bit more about it.
Leon, it was one of those ones where, when we started, it was a bit of a dilemma. Because here was Nelson Mandela's residence, where he stayed just after he was president. And it was really falling into disrepair, and I think there was a need for us to restore it. But also, at the same time, there was a need for us to create something unique in terms of the product. So when I spoke to the CEO, Houghton, and some of his team members, I think I worked with some of the NMF team members there, we came up with a concept that I think it would be good to make it a boutique hotel. And one has to explain why a boutique hotel, because I think sometimes people think that you're commercializing the name of a global icon. It's a boutique hotel because we want to create a space that is open and accessible to a particular market. And we think that it actually provides a place for reflection, for retreat, for scholarship, and more so for dialogue. Because we're going to have a mini conference center alongside it, and I think it's a 9-bedroom hotel that we're going to be putting up. So it's going to be a kind of a mixture of the two. But more than that, I think we wanted to also share the life of our president, where he lived. Yeah. And we're going to try and keep as much as possible of the authentic, original furnishings and the way the place was. So much so that the restaurant, we would want to actually have the restaurant being open to the public, where it would be run by the lady who used to cook for him.
Fantastic. And I know she has a recipe book out.
Absolutely, yes.
So you may be able to cook the recipes at home, but to go and actually
but I think
eat
to actually
her food.
sit with her, it would be an absolute pleasure, I'm sure.
So whereabout is it going to be?
It's in Houghton, just around the corner from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Okay. Literally 1 block up.
1 block up?
Yeah.
And the property currently, is it in, who owns the property?
It's currently bequeathed to the foundation itself. I think the foundation are the custodians of the property. But in terms of who stays there, it's actually in disrepair. It's in disrepair. We had to send engineers to go have a look at it structurally. So there may be part of the structure that we'd have to remove because they're completely unsafe. Yeah. So it requires quite a bit of work. I mean, there's some parts that are sunken. So it really needs a lot of work,
yeah. I mean, we talk about, in the introduction, I said a 5 to 7-star travel destination. I mean, are there many 7-star travel destinations here in South Africa?
We hope to bring one up, but this is going to be one of them.
Yeah.
And it's 5 to 7-star, not because we wanted to make it so out of reach, but we want to make it a good experience. I think we want people to come there and have a really world-class experience and be treated like super guests. I think we have, as a country, we're very hospitable people, but I think sometimes we fall short of global standards, not for any other reason, but because we don't build the services to that level. So we want to really do that. Yes.
Yeah. What are the timelines on something like this?
The timelines on something like this would probably be that currently, obviously, we're dealing with some of the technical issues around the fundraising piece, which will be done within the next couple of months. But once we've done that, we're giving ourselves about 12 months to be able to build it out and get it to the level that it should be. We think that we're going to be able to open it around Jan-Feb, probably 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a wonderful experience for any South African well, especially South African or an international traveller to come. What are we looking at? I mean, obviously it's quite this is quite an expensive exercise. Yeah. What do you project the budget to be around? I'm
scared to say that, but I think we do think it would probably cost in the region of maybe 40 million rands.
40 million.
To fix it.
Yeah.
If we really go top class with high-end security, which we don't think we should do, then it will add even more to that particular cost. But we want it to be accessible as much as possible.
Yeah. I know that Sela was going to join us for the interview.
Yes.
He was here just a bit earlier, but he had to rush off for another interview. But talk to us about the foundation's involvement in all of this.
The foundations are the custodians. We are probably, one may want to call, we're their partner. But so to speak, I think we they are our client as far as that is concerned. They call the shots. It's their asset, and we need to treat it with the respect that it deserves. So they are possibly our voice of reason. I think they would be sitting there and actually taking us through the journey of making sure that whatever it is that we do truly represents the spirit of President Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting initiative, and especially in the heart of Johannesburg, where a lot of people think, Joburg is a stopover, get out of here as soon as possible. But this is also attracting tourists to want to come here, to walk in his footsteps, to experience what he loves, what he stood for. And I can imagine that this will emulate through the entire hotel, through the restaurant, through the rooms, through the reception, the conference areas, everything. As
much as possible. I think he was a humble man in many ways. So we would want to kind of find resonance with that persona. But more than that, I think he was a man who appreciated dialogue and conversation. I think the debate that happened this morning that Sello was party to is one of the things that we would want to create a space for such conversations to begin to happen in an open and a safe environment. I think South Africa is a very, very dichotomous country in many ways. So you want to be able to present a platform that will allow South Africans to come and actually freely and openly have conversations about their fears, their hopes, their dreams and aspirations. And we want to create that facility as well in that particular space.
I just want to talk to you about the, before we wrap up, but the Kruger National Park.
Yes.
What's happening there? Because that was also a big announcement for you.
We're doing some strange things at the moment.
Strange is good sometimes.
We're putting a hotel on the Sabi River Bridge. We're calling it the Kruger Shalati Hotel. That again is going to be a 5-star hotel, probably one of the few ones in the Kruger National Park. It's going to be sitting right on top of the river. So you'll have the river flowing underneath the train while you sleep at night, overlooking the sunrise. So we think it's going to be an iconic property. I think it's probably one of a kind in the world. I haven't heard of anything similar to what we're about to do. Oh,
that sounds incredible, and that's absolutely something that you really need to get. But in terms of tourism here in South Africa, and I mean, when we look at our currency, it's very attractive for visitors to come here. They get so much value for money. When you were at the show, did you obviously you were there?
We were actually on the sidelines of the show, not in the show. We booked a hotel in Mayfair, and we hosted a breakfast where we were actually blessed by some really phenomenal people that joined us. So we did have a look. We did speak to tourism operators. So there's a lot of excitement about South Africa at the moment.
Yeah.
So in spite of what we might think, I think there is still a lot of positive towards the country.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think it's going to be absolutely incredible and very, very exciting.
Thank you.
And I'm particularly looking forward to this project for the Nelson Mandela property. And I think a lot of people seeing it saying, really, the Houghton home is going to be turned into a hotel? No. It's not that property.
It's not that kind of,
Not that property. That is so still for the family.
Mama Grasha is probably saying that, what are you going to do to my house?
No. It's like, what? Am I going to have visitors sleeping in my bedroom? No. This is another property in Houghton. Thebe, thank you. From Thebe Investment. I'm calling him Thebe again. Jerry,
I will
you know
speak
what this
Thebe.
is? This is Thebe getting in the middle here.
Thebe gets in the middle all the time.
Exactly. Jerry Mabena is the CEO of Thebe Tourism. What do you think about it? What do you think about opening up this 5 to 7-star hotel and conference center and restaurant, all in the name of Nelson Mandela, at a property that he stayed on when he came out of prison? What do you think about it? Let us know at Morning Live, SABC. We would love to hear from you. Let's take a